Hi, I'm Frank Messina, and I'd like to welcome you to the October 21st, 2025 meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission. Before we formally start, there's a number of notices that I have to read. This meeting is being recorded and will be available shortly hereafter for scheduled and on-demand viewing on any smartphone or tablet device. If anyone else is recording the meeting, please notify the chairman. Seeing none. Pursuant to Governor Healey's March 28, 2025 signing of Chapter 2 of the Acts of 2025 extending certain COVID-19 measures adopted during the state of emergency, suspending certain provisions of the Open Meeting Law, General Law 30A-20 until June 30th, 2027, this meeting of the Chatham Historical Commission is being conducted in person and via remote participation. Every effort will be made to ensure the public can adequately access the proceedings as provided for in the order. A reminder that people who would like to listen to the meeting while it's in progress may do so by calling the telephone number 508-945-4410, conference ID 361-2323-71 #, or join the meeting online via Microsoft Teams through the link on the posted agenda. While this is a live broadcast and simulcast on Chatham TV, Xfinity Channel 1072, despite our best efforts, we may not be able to provide real-time access. Okay, thank you very much. The first item of business is roll call. Okay, Vice Chair Bob Lear.
Here.
Clerk Nancy Barr.
Here.
Stephanie Hamilton.
Here.
Robert Stevens is absent. Janet Tennyson.
Here.
Robert Wilson.
Here.
And alternate Sandy Porter.
Here.
Sandy will act as a full-time member, listening to and participating in voting in place of Robert Stevens, who's absent for today. Just a quick note while I say that, we are short one member of the Historical Commission, an alternate position, and anyone out there here and would like to join our commission, I think the only requirement is that you be a resident of Chatham and have a little bit of common sense. That's about it. Anyway, okay. What I'm going to do is normally we'd go right into hearings, but let's do the minutes. I'm sorry about that.
I'd like to move that we accept the Historical Commission minutes from October 8th, 2025.
Second.
I guess jumping ahead. Okay, before we do that, comments. Any comments on the minutes, for or against? Or at the beginning of the meeting, I was going to give Annie a grade, but this is A++. She did a great job, and I told her she'd become a screenwriter in Hollywood because she made us look very good. So, okay, we'll do a roll call on the minutes of the motion and second that we just had. Whoops, sorry about that. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Steph?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes.
Robert, Sandy?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. Okay. Very simply, we would normally go to hearings, but I want to just switch up new business. I have a new business item which I added very simply. I wanted to talk about discussions of meeting protocol, recognized when being heard, and part 2, discussion of the rules and regs. There's been a lot of conversations relative to both of those issues. I would like to put the part 2 part of that discussion of the rules and reg in the hearing process. There have been some suggestions from members of the board, offline and public, relative to the hearing process. We can discuss that at another meeting, not now. I think it would require some more discussion. We have a full agenda. But I do want to reiterate the issue of meeting protocol. You know, you'll be recognized to speak when the chair recognizes you by name and not before. I would appreciate if you do that and help me along. Okay. Got the minutes out of the way. We'll proceed to the formal part of the meeting, which is the hearings. We have 1, 2, 3, 4. I guess we have 4 hearings. First one is application 25036, to be heard in accordance with Chapter 158 of the Demolition Delay Bylaw. The address is 23 Uncle Levy's Lane, and the applicant, step forward, please. I'm going to have you introduce yourself and give us a quick overview of what you're planning to do. I will note before you begin, whoops, did I get that out of order? No, I didn't, excuse me. My package is out of order. Some of us got a chance to find Uncle Levy's Lane, a beautiful part of South Chatham. And, you know, I would encourage, I know everybody can't make the site visits at the appointed time, but I hope everybody gets a chance at least to drive past these properties. You know, the drawings are fine, and, you know, but actually physically there and looking at it, you get a sense of our primary objective, which is determine, is this house historically significant? To that end, there is no Form B on this property. It is not located in the National Register, and it was a no when we did the survey of all towns, of all properties in the town. But having said that, because you did such a nice job in this application, why don't you, what I'm getting at is traditionally, if we vote very quickly that it's not historically significant, then you could move on to zoning. But I think it'd be appropriate if you give a couple of minutes of what it is you're doing and what you're planning to do.
No, absolutely.
Introduce
Good to see you
yourself
guys.
formally.
Nice to meet some of you yesterday. My name's Jeff Klein. My wife and I have owned this property since 2017. And we have a growing family, so we want to grow in South Chatham and not go anywhere else. So essentially, we're gonna remove this single-story structure, expand the footprint out to the front, and build up to the second floor. You know, I don't think there's anything historical about the house. But, you know, we're very excited to do the project and, you know, to have our family grow up coming to this wonderful place.
All right, why don't you just, even though not necessary, why don't you just, do you have your plans? What you're planning to do?
Just
Yeah.
what's on the screen here. Essentially, so again, this structure is gonna be removed. There's a bit of an exterior laundry room that we're also gonna remove for the setback lines. And then the second story will have a east to west gable on the second floor, and then we'll raise the roof in the front right here to accommodate zoning. We couldn't
Okay.
expand the way we wanted to, so that's the plan there.
All right. Okay, so at this particular point, there are no correspondence
Unknown
relative to the
participant is
application?
now exiting.
So really, the first question, yes, so really relative to that was discussion of relative, whether it's historically significant. So we will take that vote, but there's a member of the public who wanted to say something? Yes, no? Did you want to say something relative to the application? You said no. Okay, fine. Thank you very much. All right, so at this particular point, I guess we need a little discussion relative to historical significance. Does anybody want to take a shot at discussion, or at least what you think? I personally don't think it is, but what's the story? Robert?
Yes, I did have a chance to meet you, and you gave a nice tour of the property. And it is a beautiful part of South Chatham and a very comfortable looking place, but I do not think it has significant historical value. And so I would move not to find it historically significant.
Thank you. Stanley, did you have, Stephanie, I'm sorry, go ahead.
I don't think it has historical significance.
Okay. Yes, Sandy. Yes, Sandy.
I don't find it historically significant, but I have a question.
Yeah, shoot.
I'm looking at the proposed south elevation. What is the tall, what is that?
That has since changed a little bit, but it is a fireplace.
Okay,
So the roof deck has a drip down, and then we were gonna put an outdoor fireplace on the pavers down low.
thank you.
Okay. Does anybody else wish to speak relative to historical significance?
It's a lovely cottage, and I can understand why you want to enlarge it, and I think its only historical significance is its age, so I would have no problem approving this.
Nance?
I agree, and I would note that its age itself is barely over our threshold of 75 years since it was built in 1950. I don't believe it has historical significance. Appreciate your presentation.
Well, thank you guys very much.
All right. Robert,
No, I agree with all that. No problem with historical significance.
want to make a motion, sir?
Sure. I move the Chatham Historical Commission find that's the property located at, I lost it already,
23.
23 young.
2323 Uncle Levi's Road. Is it Levis or Levi's? Or you don't
Levi.
know? Okay. Is historically significant because it's in whole or in part 75 years old or more. And Commission, wait a minute, I'm reading from the long page. Thank you. And my colors mixed up. I'll start over again. I move the Chatham Historical Commission finds that the building located at 23 Uncle Levi's Road Lane is not historically significant because it does not meet any of the definitional criteria in section 158-2 A, B, or C of the bylaw. Therefore, the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
Second.
Okay, thank you very much. Any other discussion? Members of the public? Okay, very quickly. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes,
Janet?
Yes.
Robert Wilson?
Yes.
Sandy Porter?
Yes.
Chair votes yes. Good luck with zoning.
All right, thank you very much.
Okay. Next application is 25037. Again, to be heard under Chapter 158, Demolition Delay Bylaw, 18 Old Wharf Road. I believe we have our friend Chris Cannon here is going to introduce himself, but before he does, this is, there is no Form B on this property. It's not a National Register District, and it was a no. There are a couple of letters which we'll read in a bit, so why don't you give us an introduction formally and a little bit of words.
Good morning. I'm Chris Cannon, architect for the project. I have Russ Herndon and Tim Smith here. Tim will be doing the building, assuming that everything moves forward swimmingly. What we're looking to do is take off the roof of a portion of the building which was built in 1956, the portion that we're looking to tear off the roof of, and add a second floor. The house was built in 3 or 4 different sections. The front piece, which you see on the left side, it's a 1-story cottage. It was added to in the back, and then again off of the right side, which, you know, that's the part that has the shingle and the hatched area up top. That's the portion of the building that's 1956. So we're just looking to tear off the roof and add the second floor. So nothing terribly complicated there. Everything that's hatched in your existing is what we'll be removing.
Okay. In some ways, a significant change to this property, but I don't think it's potentially maybe meets the criteria of historical significance.
Yeah, there's a Form A on the neighborhood,
Yes,
but no Form B.
yeah.
So.
Well, that's one of the areas that we, quite honestly, we were going to look into again, because we did the Form A's and not the Form B, but when we did the survey, the particular house was listed as a no, which meant the preservation consultant did not think it was worthy of a Form B, and because of it, of the cottage. But, well, okay, enough for me. Anybody else wish to pine in on historical certificate? Yes, Stephanie?
Oh, you want to do just the historical? Okay.
Well, focus on that, but of course, we could do both, yeah.
Well, I was just going to ask, is that addition going to be higher than the regular roof?
Yes.
Thank you.
Yeah. Yes, Robert?
Yes, I visited the property and got a nice tour, thank you very much. And, you know, I live in that area, and there's a whole row of houses that are very, very interesting looking and have some historic value, some of them. And I think this does have some historic appeal, and I think it would qualify, if they took another look at it, to be historically significant. I don't know who's lived there, if anyone important has lived there.
Yeah, so you generally think it could be historically significant?
Yeah, it's a really charming, I don't know if you have this one on the screen. Yeah, there we go. It's got a.
Well, I guess I have to agree with you from a streetscape point of view.
Yeah.
There is a certain amount of,
Nice picket fence and
yeah,
sets nicely in the property.
all right.
It's a compliment.
Sandy, do you want to opine or some comments or anything on it? How you feel?
Well, I agree with RP that it probably has some historical significance, but no, other than that, no.
Okay. Yes, Janet?
It looks like the original, like you said, it was built in sections.
Yep.
Seems like the original section, what I could find, was built in 1947, so that, I'm not sure. It just barely kind of qualifies for historic, but I don't, it's charming, but I don't see historical significance.
Thank you very much. Nancy?
I feel a bit torn. I respect what my colleagues have said, although it is within 75, over 75 years old, but barely, and architecturally, it is a nice, low-scale property and its surroundings, but I don't see huge amounts of architectural significance from what I've looked at so far. So I'm a little bit torn about it.
Yeah, I tend to agree with you. Bob, any comments?
I agree with what's been said. I'm torn, but if looking at the criteria that we're struggling with, we should apply under Chapter 158, I don't think there are any historical persons or events associated with it. Chris, is that right? I mean,
Not to my knowledge.
all right, and the next one is possesses architectural value or significance in terms of period, style, method of construction, or associated with a prominent architect or builder. It's a nice little cottage, but that's not enough to qualify as a special facet of it that would on its own, make it historically significant. So I'm reaching the same conclusion. It's close, but I don't think it qualifies.
Yeah, well, we seem to be torn a little bit, and I guess I have to agree with the comments and, well said, but, you know, a little bit off the track, Chris, I'll be honest with you, from my perspective, not to question your design capabilities, you know, if we were to say this was historically significant, and I have the sense that we're not, and I look at like 6, if you could come up with 6, RG6, and I look at the scale of, you know, that addition, and boy, it really overwhelms it. So, but again, I understand what you're trying to do and the space you're trying to calculate, but just a comment, I don't think it's germane. Yes, Janet, you want to say something?
Yes, well, I agree with what you're saying. However, look at what's across the street,
Yeah, well, that's true.
the McCarthy's.
Well, I agree with you, it's across the street, but what happened across the street is we separated,
And they're supporting.
yeah, I understand. What happened across the street is we separated the historic house. And so, in other words, we didn't do anything to the historic house. And, but I'm just commenting if this was historic, but again, we have mixed feelings on it, so I'm not gonna preempt it, but why don't we just read the information, Nancy? The letters that we have on it?
Okay, we have 4 letters, most of them from abutters. The first is dated October 8th from Jeffrey and Lori Campbell, who are abutters at 18 Old Wharf Road. Oh, sorry, they're abutters of 18 Old Wharf Road. They live at 700 Old Harbor Road. Having seen the proposed plans, we have no objections to the changes. We support the renovation and any other planned alterations. The next one is from Marilyn and Bob Zoka from October 15th, and they currently own 30 Old Wharf Road and 90 Old Wharf Road. We are writing in support of the proposed renovations at 18 Old Wharf Road by Russ and Jennifer Herndon. We had an opportunity to discuss the proposed plans and to see the proposed drawings at their house over this past weekend with Russ. He also walked us through the premises to show us the location of the renovations. We feel that these renovations will be in keeping with the architecture of the neighborhood and will allow them to have the extra space that they are hoping for in their house. Again, we strongly support this renovation. The third letter is dated October 15th from Kate Walsh and Eric Garpstad. Dear Miss Bassett, my name is Kate Walsh. My husband Eric Garpstad and I live next door to Russ and Jennifer Herndon. We are writing to offer our strong support for the renovation project on 18 Old Wharf Road. From the outset, we've been impressed by the care and attention they have demonstrated as they carefully restored their home. The addition they propose is the last step in making Old Wharf Road their permanent home. We live on 714 Old Harbor Road, so naturally we were concerned about construction in our backyard. Russ took the time to explain what they have planned, shared blueprints and elevations with us, and was very interested in and open to our feedback. The renderings we reviewed are completely consistent with our home's character, and more important, the dimensions and characteristics of their home on Old Wharf. We know your commission has many factors to consider and balance when reviewing renovation plans. We thought it was important to let you know before your hearing that we appreciate your efforts and we believe that the Herndons' proposed renovation is consistent with the character of our very special neighborhood of North Chatham. The final letter is dated October 16th from Meg McCarthy at 19 Old Wharf Road. I want to let you and the Historic Committee know that we are in strong support for the work that Russ and Jennifer Herndon want to do at 18 Old Wharf. We are their neighbors across the street at 19 Old Wharf. We have reviewed their plans and look forward to the changes they plan to make. The changes are in keeping with the neighborhood. They have taken beautiful care of their home, and we know they will continue to do so.
All right, thank you very much. Any member of the public wish to speak for or against the application? Seeing none, I think we've kind of have a consensus, reluctantly, but a consensus relative to the historical significance. So, Bob, if you could.
Sure. I move the Chatham Historical Commission find that the building located at 18 Old Wharf Road is not historically significant because it does not meet any of the definitional criteria in section 158-2, A, B, or C of the bylaw. Therefore, the commission does not impose demolition delay.
I'll second.
Thank you very much. Any other discussion? Okay. We'll take a vote. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert Wilson?
Yes, I'm convinced by the others.
And Sandy Porter?
Yes.
And the chair votes yes. So, good luck.
Chris, thank you
Thanks
for
so
the
much.
plans. Those were the best plans I've seen.
Thank you.
I had one question off the, not part of the proceeding. I saw is the east end chimney disappearing?
No.
It's still there? Because the drawing doesn't,
Yeah, it just doesn't show.
Okay, thanks.
But yes, it's not disappearing.
perfect. I like chimneys.
Thank you.
Okay. The next application is 25038, again to be heard within Chapter 158, the demolition delay bylaw. This is a full demolition of 222 Barcliff Avenue. This application has been before us before, and as noted in the overview form which you have, there is a Form B on the property, although not listed in the National Register, and this commission in 2013 found the home to be historically significant and authorized the changes that did not diminish the historical significance and did not impose a demolition delay. But the applicant is back again, and this is an application for full demolition. So why don't we introduce yourself and begin the process of introducing the application?
Thank you. Good morning, Mr. Chairman. Bill Litchfield, members of the board. With me today is Ben Morgan, who I think may be known to you from prior visits. Ben is a builder here in Chatham who's been involved with this house for a number of years and proposes to replace it with a, I think, attractive and appropriate Greek revival. As the chair indicated, there is a Form B, and I rather suspect that you have it in front of you. It notes that it is a form called a 4-square, essentially because it is a square house, or at least the footprint is. Form B states that the house has no particular ornamentation, expressing an architectural style, and also notes that a modern one-story addition wraps around the house. It apparently, or it may have had a porch, which was enclosed in 1975, and there were subsequent additions. I thought a little bit about Form B, and I'm familiar with this house because I've known it since the late 1960s. It was owned for a long time by a fellow named Luther Edwards. He probably built it. He probably built the house next door. He did not ever live there. He lived down in the old village. He owned a lot of real estate in Chatham. And I thought a little bit more, having read the Form B, that it speaks to the house nearby at 212 being similar to it. But I also went back and thought about and read a volume with which you're familiar from 2007, published by the commission, which talked about a sense of place and identified a lot of the architectural styles that we have. Ms. Barr may be familiar with that volume, I understand that. This house is not a Cape. It's not a Queen Anne. It's not a Federal. It's not a Victorian Queen Anne or Italian Eighth, and certainly not a Greek Revival as Ben hopes to build. It is a 4-square. Nothing wrong with that, but I don't know that it is terribly indicative of the sense of place that most of us have for the town of Chatham. But I should also point out, by the way, that the current owners bought it in 1986, and they were involved in the changes that were made in 2013. Listening to Mr. Lear's comments about 18 Old Wharf Road, I recognize that the house was, in 2013, found to be historic, but we know it's not a National Historic District, or a state one. We know that it is not a classic architectural style. And thinking about the definitions in 158, it's not associated with a particular person in Chatham's history. I don't know that any of you knew Fred Fosdick, who was a driver for Acme Laundry. He lived there for a long time, but Acme Laundry itself is gone. Its historical importance is somewhat doubtful. Recognizing, however, that you must have found it under 158, a so-called C finding, that it was part or associated with some architectural style. But I would suggest to you that a number of things have happened since that 2013 finding, primarily a flood. There was significant water damage to the house. We do not have an engineer's report, but I would be happy to provide the commission with a 52-page document from the insurance adjuster Insurance adjusters are not known for being overly liberal, and they note that there's $375,000 worth of interior damage to the house. Mrs. Kutenplan, the owner since 1986, died several years ago. Mr. Kutenplan is actually older than I am, and is not in a position to visit the house. Given what has happened to the house, Ben has been involved with the family for a number of years, and the family has agreed to sell to Ben essentially the lot. And he is proposing to build something that I think that you can find to reflect a sense of place of the town of Chatham. I recognize that that's not strictly within your purview, but we provided those plans to you so that you would have an idea of what is involved. So we understand that the commission has already found the house to be historic. That's what's proposed there. Top left is a fairly classic Greek Revival front gable to the street with a wing off to the side with dormers, which is what we are proposing to replace what is there now. Thinking about alternatives to demolition, we have, and unfortunately, starting with the premise that I'm not sure the house is spectacularly or even especially significant, given the interior damage that it has had, and again, I'll be happy to file this with the commission, and the costs of renovation, spending $300,000 or $400,000 to renovate the house would not yield anything that would be worth that sum, very frankly. Yours is not an economic decision, yours is an architectural decision more than, or an historic decision. But thinking about alternatives to demolition, there are no historic materials that anyone would want. We would certainly accept a brief period of time, and we have to go to the Zoning Board of Appeals because the lot is not conforming. Ben would certainly be quite willing to have anyone take anything were there anything worth salvaging. The fact of the matter is that there is not. So I recognize that because the building has been found to be historic 12 years ago, I think that determination might be subject to question, but it's nonetheless on the record. I would note that the statute empowers you, but by no means requires you to impose a demolition delay. That is the essence of our reason for being here this morning. Ben has a contract to buy the property from the Kutenplan family, with which he has been involved for a number of years. The Kutenplan family is not going to be able to use this house. It's entirely possible that if a significant demolition delay is imposed, that Ben will not go forward. The house will sit there. I don't know what will happen to it. But it would not be a good situation for the neighborhood or for the town of Chatham. And we would ask that you not impose a demolition delay. Certainly be happy to answer any questions. It would be useful, Mr. Chairman, for me to present this to Christina.
Sure. Okay. I asked Christina a question relative to the owner, and just explain to the commission what we're dealing with here in terms of the applicant, and what is his position as the.
The applicant is Bill Litchfield, and Ben Morgan is the agreed vendee to the property,
What does that mean?
that he is under contract to buy the property. So
So-
we've dealt with this, I believe it was at 305 Main Street. We had an agreed vendee, and we were able to move forward under those circumstances.
So we're not dealing with the owner per se, as Mr. Litchfield indicated. If we don't make a decision, then he decides not to buy the well, that's the question. That's up to
Yeah,
him.
I'm not
That's
sure.
That's
Yeah.
not our thing, but we're
Right.
doing it. No, the reason I'm asking the question administratively is that we passed the bylaw relative to ensure that we were dealing with the owner of the property.
Mm-hmm.
But this is another way, a little bit of circumventing that, not necessarily, maybe the wrong word, circumventing it, but it's a process in which the the real estate and just are using.
Yes, I think where before we were running into real estate agents putting it on our docket and then hoping to sell it with that determination. Now, I think this is a step further. Ben has paperwork
Okay.
and he is the.
No, I just
agreed
want to
vendor.
understand that, because
Yeah.
new members of the commission, you got a question relative to that issue, Robert?
Just a question for Christine. I didn't hear that term. What was it? Something,
Agreed vendee,
agreed, what?
vendee.
Vendee.
Reason I brought up the subject with Christina is I know they're new members of the commission. I'm not a real estate attorney, far from it, and I just wanted the public, because, we made a big deal about dealing with the owner. Okay,
If I could, Mr. Chairman, the owner is
Excuse me?
represented by his son, an attorney.
I'm sorry?
If I could, Mr. Chairman, to clarify, the owner is represented by his son, Stephen Kutenplon, who is an attorney. I have been in fairly constant contact with Mr. Kutenplon. He does not appear to be watching, but we have full authority to act.
I understand.
However, I would simply also point out that, as you know, due to a relatively recent change in the bylaw, findings go with the applicant, don't run with the land.
say that again, sir?
Findings go with the applicant and don't run with the land.
That's correct, yeah, and that's the reason we did that.
I absolutely understand. As you said, for newer members, I was trying to
Yeah, right,
clarify.
exactly. It's not, probably not a new term, it's just one that we just may not be familiar with, and I wanted to clarify that. Okay, so we're dealing with here a situation where the applicant is asking us to overturn a previous decision of the Historical Commission and determine that a particular property is not historically significant. That's a tough one. We've never done that in the past, in my years. So I'm not sure how we deal with this. Yes, Nancy?
Just to clarify, he's not asking us necessarily to overturn the significance. I think what he said earlier was recognizing that it has been declared significant. He's asking us not to impose a delay. So I think
So
even if.
say that-
They're asking us whether or not we say it's significant, not to impose a delay because of the mitigating factors.
Well, I guess the way we do that is we say a house is historically significant.
And then we
but-
don't impose a
but-
delay.
Well, let me just finish. We say a house is not historically significant, but we say the changes proposed will not affect the historical significance, but the changes proposing eliminate the historical significance. That's the problem I have with how we proceed. In other words, we're going to have if we agree with Mr. Litchfield and his presentation, that the property is historically significant, but the changes he's proposing do not materially affect the historical significance of the property. Guess what? There is no more property. It's been
Okay.
demolished.
So you're saying we have to find it not historically significant in order to not impose a
And
delay?
that's my reading. I don't know. Mr. Lear, how do you feel?
I agree with that, although I guess Mr. Litchfield touched on this. That doesn't compel us to have a demolition delay. It just says we can impose one if we wish under that circumstance.
That's correct, Mr. Lear. The language in Chapter 158 is very specific, that the authority, and the word is empowered. There is no requirement for the imposition of a demolition delay. And as Ms. Barrow and other members said, we think that there are significant mitigating factors here which warrant the non-imposition of a demolition delay.
Understood, but I still, it does, as the chair was saying, it seems to be inconsistent to say
Inconsistent at the.
it has significant factors, but we're going to demolish it, but we're not hurting the significant factors. I mean,
Well, I agree with you.
but the law is not always consistent. I think we can agree on that.
I mean, I think relative to Mr. Litchfield's comment about a four-square, well, yes, I was part of the Census Place too that we wrote. And yeah, we were capturing a part of Chatham, and we didn't capture the new part of Chatham in that book. We captured the old part of Chatham and what the old village, the old town was. And since then, there are a lot of houses in Chatham which are newer than 1800, which have historically significance, i.e. The four square, i.e. the one we dealt with at our last meeting, which was what's it called, that cottage in the Old Village. It was a Sears Roebuck home, Craftsman House. Craftsman House, that certainly wasn't 1800, but guess what? It's in the Old Village, it's a contributing structure to the Old Village, and it is a contributing structure within a National Registered District. So the definition of a property, as you were attempting to make, well, this is not really that historic. That's true. But, you know, the Mass Historic uses a recognition of 50 years or more to recognize whether a property is eligible for a National Registered listing, so it's part of.
And certainly if this were in a National Register district, I would understand the point. As we all know, of course, it is not.
No, we never applied for it. Yeah, Janet, I think you had your hand raised?
Didn't we run into this situation once before? And we did, we didn't? I thought we did. Okay. I'd have to dig it out,
Which
but
one?
anyway.
I believe there was something down the Little Beach
Yes,
area.
in Little Beach area.
There was something down the Little Beach area that you deemed
Oh, Little
historically
Beach.
significant.
Yeah.
And we're letting them tear it down.
Correct.
You're right, you're right. And Little Beach, yeah, oh, that was,
2 houses.
yeah. Okay, I don't know, anybody else want to have any discussion? You know, that's the issue here, and I think, Bob, you've opined, I don't know, Robert, do you have anything you want to add to this discussion?
I did not visit the property, but I'm listening carefully to all this discussion, and so I'm going to defer to the group and primarily a good talk with Robert Lear.
Okay. Sandy?
I did not make the site visit myself. However, I am familiar with the house. And despite its age, having gone through that significant damage from the flood, I would have to say that I have no problem with the idea of taking it down.
Thank you. Stephanie?
Like Sandy, I agree with the damage that's been done.
I don't know.
I don't have it. Did I hear something?
No.
I have no-
Getting like me.
I have no problem.
Could be water dripping, Miss Hamilton.
Yes, Janet, I guess you want to add
So
more?
I think the historical significance has already been damaged by what they did, that addition that they put in the front. And so, and the damage, the internal storm damage, and it's basically demolition by neglect, I think.
Yes, Nancy.
I think what was very powerful to me were the pictures that I saw yesterday while on the site visit that showed the mold throughout the interior walls of the house. I would encourage applicants when they have, oh, okay, we have those photos. I feel like there is some mitigating circumstances. I feel like a 4-square house can be and is historically significant in our town. We have lots of other architecture that was not highlighted in the book that is significant. It is, I do think that the changes that have been made, including in 2013 when I wasn't on the board, but whatever, have impacted the historical significance of the house. Some of the changes that have been made in the last decades. And I believe that this is a mitigating factor, and however we have to do it based on the regulation, I do not believe that I would impose a demolition delay on this.
Okay.
If
All right.
if I could
We-
respond briefly,
We seem to
Mr.
have,
Chairman.
I'm sorry, yes?
If I might respond briefly, just to clarify, we are not asking that you reverse your finding in 2013.
Right.
We are merely asking that you do not impose a demolition delay for some of the reasons which board members have expressed. Thank you.
Thank you. I guess I'm the last one. Having sat through the.
No.
Still here,
Say again?
I'm still here.
Oh, I'm sorry, I thought you were going to say again. Go ahead, yeah, sorry.
I just was going to agree with my colleagues, I guess, in terms of what's happening here, but I just wanted to comment on one of Mr. Litchfield's comments when he went through a litany of all the architectural types in town. I don't think a house has to be of a type that has a label on it in order to
Absolutely.
qualify, and that's what makes Chatham a special place, actually, not a line of Queen Anne's or gables and everything like that, so.
Thank you very much. Yeah, sorry, Bob, I didn't realize you had more to say. But I guess I guess conflicted is a word. Robert, did you want to add something? Just please partake. Write love notes rather than talking. Thank you very much. Anyway, I've got a serious problem because I was part of the application when we determined it was historically significant in 2013. And I was looking at the drawings you submitted, and I appreciate it. I'm looking at the signature on the accepted, and at first had problem reading it. Then I realized it was my dear friend Bob Oliver, who was chairman at the time. And I think it was about then when he said to me, Frank, I can't be chairman forever. You better think about it. And I'm sorry I said yes. But having said that, I think about Bob, and I think about Don Aikman and the other members of the commission who were on at that time when we made this decision. So it's hard for me to all of a sudden say, and I know, your legalistic comment is that we're not going to say it's not historically significant, but and the reference to the houses in the
Little Beach.
that down by the water, and that was a different situation from my point of view. That wasn't neglect, and some reason, and even Nancy referred to it. One of the things we're thinking about is some kind of legislation for demolition by neglect. Yes, there was water damage, but yes, it could be repaired, it could be saved. It ain't 1,700, so we might say, why should we save it? But that's partly what we would do. And a demolition delay is not a no. We don't say you can't demolish it. We just say, could you wait some time and think about it? That's the purpose of a demolition delay. This is not a zoning board where we say yes or no. We delay. And, I'm inclined not to support allowing this demolition to proceed. But having said that, Robert, can you give us a motion, unless anybody else wants to speak? Yes, Janet.
What do you think, Bob Lear?
I'm sorry?
I want to know what Bob Lear thinks.
I'm thinking about how to word this in the sense of we're not reversing our finding that it was historically significant. And how we do that, I guess. I don't, it's sort of like which form to read, not historically significant or not historically significant, so.
Yep.
We'd have to make up a new version of the motion, which I'm trying to go through in my head, but not
Yeah, that's-
too cohesively.
If I might, Mr. Chairman, respond to Mr. Lear.
Yes.
I think that, and I'm just doing this off the top of my head, but I think that the board, if it's so inclined, could determine that notwithstanding the 2013 finding that the structure is historically significant, that there have been mitigating circumstances which do not warrant the imposition of a demolition delay. Or more eloquent words which the chair might come up with, but language to that effect
And I
might
think
work.
that's the problem, Mr. Litchfield, where I think some of us are having problems, been on this commission for a bit, having problems and all of a sudden reversing a decision, from my point of view, is that the way you phrase why you have to do it, I don't believe they're strong enough to overrule the imposition of a demolition delay. But just hold on, we're never going to get done here.
Well, we've had cases in the past where that house that was clearly historical and
Yes.
significant through the passage of time has been overwhelmed or covered up, if you will, by the changes that the owners made, and you couldn't see the historical significance. And it's different than the Stage Harbor Road one, where there's still vestiges that were there. There's nothing, very little left of this one, partly because I think, if I understand Mr. Litchfield, what the owners did after 2013 with the front of it and some other changes, that what we approved historically significant became no longer historically significant. Add flood to that, then that's where we are. But, so I'm comfortable with just saying it's not historically significant despite the prior findings.
Okay, why don't you make that motion? We're going to have a continued dialogue, but we need to move it along, okay? Why don't you make the
Okay, Ray.
motion and we'll see where we are.
Oh, I'm sorry. Go ahead, Robert.
Yeah, I just had the one comment that if
Nancy,
hypothetically.
sorry, Janet, did you have something to say? Did you have something to say, Janet?
No, I'm saying.
Okay, I got him. Thank you.
Thank you. I'm sorry to slow down the proceedings just a few seconds. But should hypothetically, we do impose a demolition delay, there should be a reason you want to send them back to think about something. What is it that we want them to think about?
Well, it's a good question. Directing that at me?
Yeah, or the group.
The question is, yeah, all right, save the house and put an addition on it.
By doing what, though?
By saving house, but we don't know yet. We don't do the design. We don't tell them what to do, because they're not proposing a design. What they're proposing is demolition. That's the problem. They're not proposing a change. They're proposing a demolition.
Somehow save it.
Yeah.
If
Well,
I
the
could,
question, the question, just hold on. The question would be, what are we asking them to do? Asking them to reconsider the demolition. That's what we do, if we wanted to do that. But I'm not saying we are, but that's the process of what we do. I'm going to let Bob proceed so we can try and bring some closure. Go ahead.
I move that the Chatham Historical Commission reaffirm its finding that the house was historically significant. However, the commission also notes that there were structural changes made by the prior owners to the building that we found historically significant, which impact on that finding. And also, there is a mitigating factor of substantial water damage, which makes trying to fix up the inside and reclaim some material impossible to do. So I would say that the commission at this point finds the house is not historically significant because it does not meet any of the definitional criteria in section 158-2 A, B, or C of the bylaw, and does not impose a demolition delay.
Did you ever think of becoming a lawyer?
Second?
Okay, we have a second?
Yep.
All right, good.
Second.
Thank you very much. Did you catch that, Annie? Yes. Good, all right.
wow.
No, she's good, she's good. She's great. Okay, we have a motion, we have a second. I think that kind of says what the majority of the members think they want to say. So we can bring this to closure, and if there's no other discussion from the members of the public or the commission?
Yep.
All right, nobody's answered, say something. Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes.
Stephanie?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert Wilson?
Yes?
Sandy Porter?
Yes.
And the chair, I have to abstain. It's hard for me to overrule my good friend Don Aikman and, no.
Thank you
Okay,
very much.
So the chair, it passes. Thank you very much. Appreciate it. All right, who are we holding back there? 48 Salt Marsh. Oh, look who's here. All right. 25039, be heard in accordance with Chapter 158. This is an intent to partially demolish, make changes to a property at 48 Salt Marsh Road, filed by Mr. Joe Chickleone, a gentleman who this commission, or some members of this commission, are very familiar with. And so let's quickly, a couple of comments before I allow you to introduce yourself, Joe. This is an application which there's no Form B on the property, which there should be.
There is.
Oh, sorry about that. I read backwards. It's not listed in, what I'm saying, it's not in the National Register. Thank you very much, ladies. And so, quite candidly, a very historic property when you really read the Form B. And some modest changes are being proposed, but why don't you introduce yourself, Joe, and formally, and we'll give us an overview of what you're planning to do.
Sure. Good morning, Mr. Chairman, members of the commission. My name is Joe Giacalone. I'm here representing the homeowners, Rich and Suzanne Connolly, who I believe are joining us remotely today. We're here to discuss our proposal to renovate the home at 48 Salt Marsh Way, the Isaiah Nickerson House. The house was originally built around 1780 as a traditional Cape-style home with no dormers, has a south-facing front door centered, a three-sided fireplace typical for this period. The According to the Form B documentation, a north wing was added around 1850 as a single-story addition. Then, in about 1910, dormers were added to the original cape. That was the first major change to the roofline. By 1981, the property went through significant reconstruction and expansion. At that time, a full second floor with dormers was added on the north wing to make a large master suite. The interior was reconfigured with a second stairwell, newer kitchen, and a new foundation was installed. Because of all those changes, very little of the original 1780 structure remains today. The fireplaces, vertical structural posts on the first floor perimeter walls, and some framing members are really the only original features still intact. Our proposal is to remove the second floor master suite and dormers that were added in 1981, resize and simplify the dormers on the original cape so they're smaller and more in keeping with the traditional proportions, remove the asphalt shingle roof and install traditional cedar roof, preserve and expose the original fireplaces and support posts as part of the finished design. Overall, this project actually reduces the home's square footage and removes the roof massing that doesn't fit the historic form. The goal is to make the house exterior look more authentic. Given how much building has already been altered over time, we feel this proposal doesn't take away from its history. It enhances it by restoring balance, proportion, and authenticity. Thank you very much.
Oh, thank you very much. The beautiful piece of property for those of us who had an opportunity to find our way to get to it, and yeah, I think the changes, as you say, are relatively modest considering the age of the house and what you're trying to do, but well, why don't we just quickly go around the room unless somebody has some questions that are,
I do.
yes, go ahead, Steph.
I'm looking at this paper where you talk about what's going to be done. Now, when you say remove existing asphalt shingles, that means all the shingles?
That's correct.
And then the siding and trim, all the siding and trim will be removed? Okay, thank you.
Thank you very much. Anybody else have any question, or else we'll go around the room? Yes, Nancy?
I just wanted to know, is there any historical, meaning 1850, 1909, 1780 materials that are being removed, or were they all more
They've
modern?
all been changed over the years. There'll be some floor joists that we're going to reuse that will be exposed. We're not taking it out of the home.
Is that the Saltworks floor joists that are noted on the
Yeah, that's what
form?
it mentions in the Form
that-
B. I'm not sure, to be honest with you. Like-
So you're taking floor joists out, but you're going to be reusing them in the
Right, so
walls?
if there's some, let's say, under the second floor addition that we're removing, there may be some in that ceiling that we'd repurpose.
Okay,
So we're trying to show off as much of the original structure as we can.
yeah, and I appreciate that. I was just trying to make sure that I understood, what may be removed
Right.
that is historic, so that, I appreciate the goal to bring it closer to the historic house that was there, and, but I just wanted to, clarify the materials that were being removed.
Unfortunately, when they redid the foundation, they tore up most of the original floorboards. So if you go into the basement, it's all newly framed in some sections under the original structure.
Okay.
And when they did that, they tore up the old floorboards back then.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you. It is interesting from my perspective. This is obviously a historic home, given its history and all that kind of stuff. And then I think the changes, quite honestly, you're trying to make a good in terms of restoring it, back to what it's particular. Because obviously some of the changes were a bit much. And I think it does retain a lot of the original structure. Our authority is the exterior, not the interior. We like to encourage, as Nancy said, as much of the saving the original historic material. But I think the form and function of this particular house with these changes, we're going to be be relatively good. I did have one question about the garage, which this application includes, to demolish the garage.
We would like to demolish the garage. I believe there was a building permit 1979 that was taken out for that
Yeah,
garage.
Is your current application to demolish the garage?
The garage was built in 1979, so it,
But it is demolish the garage. And I guess my question is, do you know what you're putting back there, if anything, in the future?
So I think that's where the new septic system's gonna go. So the
gotcha.
overall program is to use this as a guest house.
So no garage per se?
There will be a new garage in a different location,
Okay.
but the architect hasn't
I got
plotted
you.
it out
That's, I
yet.
just wanted to clarify
Yeah.
that. Thank you, Joe. Yes, Nancy?
They're building a whole new house.
I'm sorry?
They're building a whole new house on the bluff behind this.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly, yes, yeah. Okay, any other questions or comment? If not, we're gonna, I think, have a consensus of where we're going on this. Bob, how about you? Anything more?
No, I can do a motion if you want.
Okay, great.
This one's easier.
Hold on one second. Sandy?
I have a quick question. What is an Alaskan red shingle? Red cedar
I
shingle?
think that might be a typo. So it should have been like a Alaskan yellow cedar or a red cedar. So
It's an Alaskan red cedar, I'm going.
yeah, so
I saw
I
that.
think the architect mixed two words up.
I have to tell you, I love the windows that you're proposing, the
Oh,
two
thank you.
over two.
Very nice.
Thank you. Okay, anything else? We're gonna proceed. If there's no other comments, good.
Okay, I move that Chatham Historical Commission find that the building located at 48 Salt Marsh Way is historically significant because it is in whole or in part 75 years old or more, and Commission also finds it's associated with one or more historical persons in the town, and it possesses architectural value or significance in terms of period, style, and method of construction.
Do we have a second?
Second?
Okay. Any other comments from the board, members of the public? No, thank you. We could proceed. Bob,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Steph,
Yes,
Janet,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Sandy, and the chair votes yes. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Have a
Same
great
And you
day.
didn't vote.
oh, you did.
I'm sorry, part two?
Yes.
What? I'm sorry, Christina?
second part of the motion?
Oh, second, you didn't, I thought, in my mind, I thought it was including it like we used to do it. We could do part two now.
Commission also finds that the proposed work dated September 23rd,
December 23rd.
2025, will not materially diminish the historic significance of the building, and therefore the commission does not impose a demolition delay.
Second.
Okay, any other discussion? Roll call, Bob,
Yes.
Nancy,
Yes.
Steph,
Yes,
Janet,
Yes.
Robert,
Yes.
Sandy, and the chair votes yes.
Yes.
Thank you very
Thank
much.
you very much. Have a great day.
Good to see you.
Oh, boy.
All right. Just quickly, we've got a couple of important things to talk about, but not overwhelming ourselves here at this particular point. Doing good, guys. Good timing. As I said, on the new business, which I jumped ahead, we'll discuss the rules and reg hearing process at our next meeting. And if that's okay with you folks, all right? And Christina has that. Quite honestly, let me jump ahead. Well, maybe not, just go quickly. The issue of the Penrose housing development, it's proceeding with both applications, the 1550 Main Street and 0 Meeting House Road. I'm not sure where it's going, but they are, for those of the members of the commission who were concerned about density, there was a discussion from the ZBA asking the applicant to reduce the density down to, and that was based upon the applicant's letter when they were proposing that they needed 60 units to be economically feasible. Well, guess what? They got 90 units, so I don't know what's gonna happen on that, except for those of us who are concerned about the density, that's just an issue. The next item we have is the And I think next week, next time, do we have any applications next time? How many?
We have 4 for
Oh.
the November 4th, but we only have 1 for the November 18th.
Okay, so
Oh, I
the next
don't-
meeting is on
November 4th.
the 4th, and we have 4 on November and 1 on the 18th.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, I'm going to push ahead those things which require discussion that we have, we don't, not here for hours. So we'll, again, November 18th, we'll continue a discussion on the rules and regs. We'll also continue discussion on the possible decision of historical significance. Bob, I'm going to need your help on that. All right? In terms of, magic, the third item down, good news, I guess you all got it, and for the members of the public, this Historical Commission, myself, received a letter from Mass Historic, finally, on October 3rd, 2025, and let me just tell you what this is. Let me read parts of it. It just is worthy. The staff of Mass Historical Commission reviewed the William and Ann Nickerson homestead on the Monomoy Homelands, National Register Determination of Eligibility in Chatham, Massachusetts, by the Public Archaeological Lab. Thank you for your patience during this time that a careful review and consideration and information was taken under by several. It did take a long time for something which we would be sure, putting something on the National Register takes years, but this particular part was supposed to happen in months, but it didn't. Cutting to the chase, they feel the application by PAL was well-written, and I think the important thing, if you read it, there are 4 criteria in order to get listed on the National Register, A, B, C, and D. And if you read the details of the letter, they found that in all 4 cases that the archaeological lab, did meet the application requirements, and they allow us now to proceed for the nomination of a National Register application. It's going to take at least 2 years or more, possibly, hopefully 18 months to get that to happen. But we must remember, the eligibility list, when it is listed as eligible, that effectively protects it, okay? The next step, it protects it within the Cape Cod Commission having jurisdiction as an eligible National Register property. The next step would be the actual listing and a plaque and all that good stuff. So, again, I want to thank PAL, Holly Herbster, and more importantly, thank the Nickerson Family Association, because they're the ones that did the dig, and Craig Cartier, they're the ones who worked hard to do the actual work. And of course, the Conservation Foundation land, who owns the property, permission to proceed. So I think it's quite an accomplishment. If it happens, we get another National Register property in the town of Chatham. Yes, Nancy?
I never asked this, but is this just the archaeological site and not the homestead? Is the homestead already listed, or is it all one site that is going forward?
This is
The homestead and the archaeological
What do
site?
you mean the homestead?
The house.
The
You mean the
house?
Nickerson Family Association?
The house, yes.
No, this is nothing that. This
Okay.
is
Just the
this is
site.
archaeological dig
For
which
the-
found the original.
The homestead site, so this is not the buildings of
No,
the,
not
okay.
the,
I just wanted to clarify, because
okay.
I never
That's interesting.
clarified that. Is that listed, or just no one,
No,
because
it's-
they've all been moved, it's probably
it's not
not
listed.
qualified? Okay,
They
thank
never
you.
applied. And it's interesting, if they were to apply, I can't think of the name of that house, it's a Nickerson house. Caleb Nickerson, is it? Caleb Nickerson.
Caleb.
It would be probably difficult because it has been moved, but yeah, they never applied for that. Okay, well, I think it's happening. One thing I just want to add about that, the next phase here, the Nickerson Family Association has agreed to fund the next phase. So the process for the actual submitting the application is proceeding under the contract with the Nickerson Family Association. We, the Historical Commission, will continue to be involved because we're the principal who has to make the application. But they will be paying Holly Herbster the cost to prepare the actual application, and then we will submit it. So it's all good stuff happening on that. Just quickly, anything you want to report on the Form Bs? Next item down? Is it just proceeding? We have a contract?
We have a contract and it's proceeding. I think in the next couple of weeks will be.
Well-
talking to him further and going.
Okay,
from
so we
there.
do want to, what I'm talking about here, guys, is the fourth item down, which is the update of the Form As and Form Bs, and putting Eric under contract. If he in fact is under contract, why don't we also add him to that November 16th meeting to ask him to zoom in, and we can discuss with him what, what he's attacking as far as updating Form Bs. I know, Nancy, you had a couple of properties that you thought we should update the Form Bs. They were wrong and corrected. This will be an opportunity for all of us to think about which Form Bs and As we want him to work on. Yes, ma'am.
So the contract is to create new Form Bs.
I know,
Okay.
but still, it'd be good to scope the problem,
Yes.
This is not the final one. I mean, if he gives us more recommendations, we may say, all right, we need to do something more. Okay. I don't want to leave it. Demolition by neglect, I don't know about you, but I'm talked out. You have the staff report. I think she did a very good job. And the only question is, what do you do about it? And one more time, I'd like to put that on the agenda for that meeting. And so if you guys could really take a hard look at that. And really the question is, okay, now what do we do? Do we really want to pursue this, or have we done everything that we can possibly do? Yes, sir.
Just a comment on that. Most of the areas, comment on that, most of the areas that she lists, or the other towns that she includes, is a good explanation of it, but I'm curious, or I would like to know how it worked, or if it's actually really happening before we try to make a push as to, well, let's adopt the Marblehead model or something, which,
Yeah, are they really doing it?
so I don't know that we're ready to.
Well, okay, that's a perfect question. In other words, that's a good question. We could go back to her and say,
Well, call these guys again and see.
yeah, right, exactly. That's a good question.
What happened?
Yeah. More importantly, I think I would like to have her here, give her time, so we could have a conversation with her. I mean, I know, quite candidly, staff has been reluctant for us to proceed on this, because this is a tough one. This is not an easy one. Yes, Stephanie?
I just have a question. We had one property today that had been damaged. Was that by neglect?
Which property are we talking about?
It was 222
Yeah.
Barclay.
Oh, I brought that up, but nobody seemed to bite on
No,
it.
we were talking about it. We were
Yeah, but
communicating about it. What I'm asking, though, do other people feel it was neglect, or do you feel it was circumstances?
well, that's a very
the
good
same
point, and it's probably unfair with the applicant not being here. If there's a water leak, and I had a house that had a major water leak, and guess what? 3 weeks after this, we took care of it. If you leave a water leak for more than a month or two, and obviously this thing was left for a long time, and i.e., that's the
Someone
that's
wasn't
the
taking
neglect.
care of it either.
That's the neglect. Can we do anything about it? Well, I don't know, I doubt it, but at least we can acknowledge, and I think hopefully I got it in the record, I said this, the applicant brought it up, he said something, he used the term neglect, and I didn't want to jump on it, because I don't want to seem like I was beating him up, but that certainly was an issue.
Yeah.
This home was neglected. We don't have authority in that area. That's what we're trying to do. That's the purpose of the demolition by neglect thing. Hey, guys, you didn't do it, okay, let's not go, I'm pontificating. All right, guys, I think that's it. The last one on there is the boathouse, and things are moving along. We don't have any administrative approvals?
Nope.
Okay? Is anybody dying to jump in and add something to the agenda or speak? Yes, Robert?
At this 25 words or less, has anyone driven by 137 or 173 Shore Road? Have they got
Yes.
the four walls up?
162, yes. Yeah, I visited a couple of times. The shell is there. They're putting it back, unfortunately, there's a lot that's brand new.
So they're complying with what we,
Yeah, but they're complying, and I don't know, I haven't heard whether they paid the fine.
The fine, they're working on the fine.
Working on it, okay. So, anyway.
they're not due back in, though.
Thank you. Very good. No, it'll, I'm sure the residents of Stage Harbor, Shore Road are going to be pleased with when it's done. It's not going to be done for a while. What he's going to do is put the frame up and then cover it, and that's about it. It'll take time. there was a minor change on that. Did we approve that?
I just saw it yesterday, the architect. They want to put a window
Yeah.
in the new foundation.
There's a minor change that they've asked for, is on the foundation, on the side of the house, they want to put a small window in, and it doesn't detract from anything, so. All right, anything else? Motion to adjourn,
I make a motion that we adjourn this meeting?
okay?
Second?
Second? Any other comments? Bob?
Yes.
Nancy?
Yes?
Steph?
Yes.
Janet?
Yes.
Robert?
Yes?
Sandy? And the chair votes yes. Thank you very much. Nice.